Good morning, everybody. I'm State Representative Jeff Keicher. I'm from the 70th District. I represent parts of DeKalb, Boone, and Kane counties. As a member of the Property Tax Relief Task Force, I echo the sentiments from Leader Demmer, Representative McCombie, and Representative Sosnowski, but I'd like to provide some additional perspective. As most of you know, property taxes are a kitchen table issue in the state of Illinois. There's not a family that owns property in the state of Illinois that doesn't have grave concerns, not only about the level currently of our property tax burden, but the acceleration of that burden over time. I was optimistic from the start, maybe it was a little bit of freshman representative optimism, that we're going to sit down, we're going to have diligent and due discussion on the biggest issue that people mention to me time and again as I see them on the streets, at coffee shops and restaurants. Jeff, what are you going to do about property taxes? Well, you know what? We've got this task force, so we're going to dig into the issue. We're going to hopefully come up with some ideas that are going to help resolve what has gotten us into this place. This isn't the first time that the Illinois legislature has attempted to tackle the issue of property taxation. It's sadly just the most recent in a long history of failed task forces that have not moved the ball forward on behalf of the taxpayer. This has perhaps even been the shortest. Each time the past task force has convened to address this most specific and important issue, the Democratic members who have controlled the process have often stifled the discussion and led it towards conclusions or opportunities that they saw best to fulfill their narrative. This goes back to 1975 when lawmakers first approved Senate Joint Resolution 10 and 8 more times since. I'd like to go through the list now with you, if I could. 1982 was the Tax Reform Commission. 1995, the Equity 95 Property Tax Classification Task Force. 1997, the Electric Utility Property Assessment Task Force. 1998, the following year, the Governor's Blue Ribbon Commission on Property Taxation. 2004, the Property Task Force under House Resolution 917. 2008, House Resolution 527, which instructed the House of Representatives Revenue and Finance Committee to conduct an investigation into ways to improve our tax assessment practices in the state of Illinois. 2009, the Property Tax Reform and Relief Task Force. Name sounds pretty familiar, doesn't it? In 2018, the TIF Reform Task Force. And finally, in 2019, the Property Tax Relief Task Force now joins this list of squandered opportunities to have diligent and due dialogue on the biggest issue that is being faced at kitchen tables in the state of Illinois. Through all of this, have we seen improvement in property taxes in Illinois? We have not. The people of Illinois deserve better. We need to be better statespeople in handling this crisis. The past few months of this task force were largely shut out of any discussion. If the idea or narrative didn't fit into the paradigm, as Representative Sosnowski had indicated, there was no negotiation on consideration of the issue to truly dialogue and have a give and take discussion about what might be the best path forward to solving the property taxation issue in the state of Illinois. I repeatedly asked for the opportunity to review the draft copy of the report. I learned in the final weeks of the year that it was initially released only to a select few and they were instructed not to share it forward. This is not the way an 88-person task force should operate. We didn't have due dialogue and discussion. We will, as a caucus, file a package of property tax reform bills, and I do remain optimistic. I'm an optimist at my core, and I'm hopeful that we will be granted fair hearings and that the issues that are relevant to our families across the state of Illinois will not be sidelined to the Rules Committee, that they will be allowed a full discourse in front of the taxpayers. The Democrat response to our bills as they're filed will be very telling on their intentions during the spring session.